Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey Spencer, it's Specs. How you doing?
Specs, how are you, man?
I'm really good, Spencer. I just thought I'd give you a quick bell and catch up about a few things going down. How's everything with you? Happy Easter over
Oh,
there.
thank you,
Well,
man.
everywhere.
Happy Easter to you too, bro. You have some really big news. You kind of, I guess you're involved or somehow met. What is his name? I can never pronounce his name. Spurlock?
Morgan Spurlock.
Spurlock, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we recently been involved or got asked to be part of his new upcoming movie called Mansome. Now, it's a great pleasure to be asked to be involved with it. I met
Sure.
Morgan several months ago, and he was kind of really fascinated by the whole hair transplant industry,
Well,
and he was.
he's a big time hair loss sufferer himself. I mean, it's very obvious. I'm sure it's nothing. This isn't news to him if he hears this.
Oh, it's no news to him at all. I
Right.
mean, God, he rolls around in circles with guys getting hair transplants. Sure, it's certainly nothing. It's not on his radar personally,
Right.
but however, he's fascinated with everything that's different, and certainly a hidden epidemic such as hair loss and hair transplants. And we met, had several beers, and he was very kind of intrigued as to my story and how I
Let me
helped
ask.
all these
Let me
guys.
cut you off for a second, Specs. How did you
Go
guys
for it.
meet? How did you meet this cat?
Just through a friend, through a mutual friend. We were in London, and he goes, "Oh, buddy, you got to come and meet Morgan Spurlock." And initially, I was like, "Morgan Spurlock," and I know that name, but who is it? And of
Right.
course, he's kind of you do a quick Google search, and he's pretty iconic. I mean, he's well known face for obviously the Supersize movie,
Right.
and you scratch the surface
And
a
he
little
has
bit.
his own television show now, or I think
He
it's still
has his
on
own
there.
TV show in the UK. That's kind
Yeah.
of why I met him. He was over here in the UK filming. And oh man, he's a great guy. Funny, quick guy. And
Yeah.
obviously, he was. It's a very long story short. We got talking about hair transplants. He personally wasn't interested. That's not why we met. It was a real kind of chance meeting, and we got talking about my kind of involvement, and kind of then he propositioned me as like, oh man, I'm making this movie on male grooming. There's loads of people involved. Would you be interested in being a part of it? And at the time, I was like, yes, that's
Of
fantastic.
course.
Great. Eight or nine beers in, and didn't hear anything much. Yeah, I'd have agreed to anything at that point. Thank God my wife didn't bail me asking me for money. But he was essentially just looking for content for his film. His film, Mansome, is out next month, and he's heavily involved in several projects. He spins like 100 plates at once. And at this point, when I had spoken to him originally about it, and he said, "Oh, do you want to be part of this movie?" I was like, "Great." Didn't know anything about the movie at all, but I thought obviously if he's involved with it, it will be reaching a lot of people potentially.
Are
So
you kidding me, man?
he
If you even have 10 seconds in that movie, you will be on HBO for the rest of your life.
Well, this is it. We were asked, we had a whole day's film, to cut to the chase, we had a whole day's filming with Morgan, several months on from our original kind of conversation in London. Dr. Feller was involved. We were both interviewed. He got to see a fantastic kind of post-op patient, kind of 18 months post-op. His crew interviewed Dr. Feller, interviewed me. It was great.
Well, this is
And
what I
we
like
were.
about this happening. Sadly, what we usually see in the media are the guys that aren't doing great work. Some publicist, somebody gets a hold of some press release, and some assistant producer of the assistant's producer, contacts these people because they think they're experts, and these are the people they usually include in these types of series or these types of documentaries. It's incredible, and it is, I guess, it's serendipity that you guys met, and he was able to get you in there and a guy like Dr. Feller involved
Well,
because now at least
indeed, but
people are
you
going to
know
know what
what?
the reality is.
Well, let's hope. The thing is, we don't know if we're going to be involved. The whole film, if we are, brilliant. If we're not, no worries. It was a great experience to be involved with him. Met him, several times. I even met his mum. We were out for drinks in London recently. There's that picture that I put on your forum, me and him again. I had a few, can you gather with like a beer or two?
Absolutely.
We had a few beers, and he's such a great guy. So it was fantastic to have met him, be involved with it. If we get in, fantastic. We'll probably even get 10, 30 seconds, but so we won't really be able to, people won't really be able to comprehend the whole day's filming and how fortunate they were to have somebody like Dr. Feller on camera.
Absolutely.
But we're just hoping if we are used, if it's in the right context, all you need to do is spend a few minutes on Google and you have a look. And these guys that are involved in the film, they're all comedy actors. It's that Zach Galifianakis, the guy has the hangover.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Beard.
Yeah, that guy's like, he's like a gorilla.
He's a genius.
He's got so much, he's got hair growing from everywhere, man.
He does indeed. But there's guys like Jason Bateman, who's great, comedic look at male grooming generally.
Sure.
So it's not specifically about hair transplants, the hair transplant industry.
I hope they give you at least a couple of minutes because that would really...
So do I. But I do know also, he interviewed, he went around, hair club for men, and at the end of the day, is an accurate message going to get relayed to...
In my view, so much more powerful if, in fact, you guys have some good airtime. Because, like I said, and I spoke to Dr. Feller about this, he may have actually said this, if you're in there, you will be on HBO for like 10 years.
I know. But it's funny as well. It's funny as well to have had exactly, you hit the nail on the head, it was serendipity, a real chance meeting. And if it works, fantastic. And if we accurately get, we're allowed that kind of time to just get that message out, inform people that didn't already know, God, okay, good, that's actually how it's done,
Yeah.
And just something that, we were asked a lot of questions. We answered them very honestly, very directly. We didn't kind of sensationalize it. We were solely, providing our time to really help get the information out there so that guys that don't know much about hair transplants or have had hair transplants who are a little bit in the dark get some really, for once, when you watch these things, for once, some accurate, really good, solid information. And it will be brilliant if we get even 10 seconds. If we don't, like we say, it's been a great experience to be part of it all. And we just wanted everybody to know, as a bit of fun as well for the forum, hey, check this out, we've been involved in this. Can you believe it? Let's hope it works for us.
I think it's awesome. And, for some of the naysayers in the chat room, are you watching the program right now? By the way, Specs?
No, I'm not.
There's some guys in the chat room who, for some reason, don't understand the significance of this, and they think, they're putting like Z's, like they're bored. Guys, you need to understand how important this is for our field and for anyone considering hair transplantation. And I guess I get a little irate when I see this stuff being written, especially when you're taking the time, Specs, to come here, do what you do for so many hair loss sufferers, and, people are just being rude in the chat room. So,
buddy, on the forum, you mean, or is it on
No, actually, it's a live chat on my show. Go to thebaldtruth.com and watch live, and we have a chat going on.
Hey, buddy, you can't please everybody all the time.
Dude, tell me about it, man. That's the story of my life.
Yeah, buddy, it's funny. I'm sorry we're boring those guys, but for us, and, for you, and people either get it or they don't. Morgan Spurlock, come on. The guy is well known for various documentaries, and the guy's putting together a fantastic movie, and potentially we're going to be involved in it.
Specs,
and
you know what I say? This is what I say. Fuck them. That's it. You're doing great things. You're helping a lot of people. What you're going to be able to do, crossing over to the mainstream, anytime I've been lucky enough to be in a documentary or to be on interviewed by 2020 or Good Morning America or whatever, getting into that realm of mainstream media is so different than just focusing on the hyper concerned that kind of are involved in our world in the message forums. There's a totally different group of people who have no idea how they can be helped, who have no idea what really is out there, and they think that if you're losing your hair, you need to go to the hair club or that you go to one of the large chain clinics. Having the opportunity to do what you're doing and allowing guys to see great doctors like Dr. Feller to me, it's monumental. So I'm proud of you, man. I really am.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. It's great. No, we appreciate that over, we've all seen for all the years, even the people that are heavily involved in the industry, how often do you actually see in any form of media, newspaper, radio, TV, film, any accurate information on hair restoration and hair loss?
You don't.
Rarely,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating. So for us, it was like it's a great opportunity to get heard, to get heard on that size platform via somebody so iconic as Morgan Spurlock. You know, it's just
well. Listen,
it's
if Morgan ever wants to come on the program, let him know. I'd love to have him on, and we can actually maybe do something via Skype so people can see him and see his hair, and you can talk about it and. Maybe promote the movie a little bit. Not that he needs me to promote the movie.
Anybody that's bored in those chat rooms, anybody that's bored in the chat rooms, anybody that's listening, just go and Google Morgan Spurlock, just Google him, and then the penny will drop, potentially, hopefully.
Don't worry. Dude, embrace your haters, man. That's what I've learned to do the last 14 years.
You're preaching to the converted, buddy. from your lips to God's ears, as the old Jewish saying goes.
That's right.
It's water off the duck's back for me, mate. I've been hated for years on the forums for doing what? Helping people. Go figure. You can't win them all. But listen, I will. If we get in the movie and we're involved for whatever, we were invited, if we get in, to go to the premiere and meet some people, and it would be a fantastic experience. If we do get in, then I'll obviously speak to Morgan about getting him on the show, and I'm sure he'd love to give you a bell and have a good chat, and I'll brief him more on you, and God, he'd love to have a chat with you guys.
Absolutely. Maybe we could have a premiere after party with our guys from GFQ Network in New York. Maybe we can do something like Sapphire Strip Club or something.
Oh, it sounds good. I'm in. But I'm sure Morgan would love it, man.
Thank you so much for calling, man. Congratulations. Mazel tov. I think it's great. And you know what? Embrace the haters, bro, like I keep telling you.
Hey, don't worry. Thanks for having me on the show, buddy. And I'm sure we'll speak soon. Take care, buddy. I'll keep you in the loop.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Good evening, Spencer. It's Dr. Feller.
Dr. Alan Feller, IHRS accepted member and friend of the Bald Truth. How are you, man?
Good, and happy Passover to you and yours.
Thank you. Good Pesach. This is monumental. This is a really big deal. This isn't just a one-time, if you're in a documentary like this, it's not just like, oh, you're on 2020, which is great, or you're in some sort of like Dateline or news piece. This is the type of stuff that is replayed for a decade.
I figured this would be a nice window, a big transparent window into how hair transplantation should be done today. And I had no real preparation time. I think I had found out 4 or 5 days before they were going to come in and film that they wanted to do this. But luckily, all the planets lined up. It so happened the patient who was coming in for a second procedure, so they could actually see somebody who'd been through a procedure already and grown out. I think he was 18 months. Hey, thankfully the guy grew beautifully.
Yeah, well,
and,
that would have been a disaster, man.
Hey, well, look, it's hair transplantation. It's very physiological dependent, so not everybody's going to grow exactly the same.
Right.
But most people grow to a cosmetically significant level and beyond, and it was no exception with this patient. So thankfully, it was a good one for the cameras.
Yeah.
And he had a good attitude, and I was able to show how we do the surgery, how we plan it out. And I'm a fan of some of these reality shows. When they had come in, first of all, this is a full crew. I think there was 5 people in this crew. I'd never been exposed to anything like this in the past.
It's amazing. And I really hope that you get some good airtime. I hope they don't decide to just cut you out. Or I think a lot of people will be helped by this if they, keep you in there. All right. Dr. Alan Feller, IHRS accepted hair transplant surgeon, probably one of the best, not probably, he is, in my view, one of the best hair transplant surgeons in the world. Has an incredible, stellar reputation, and has helped a lot of people. And he's a good guy. So I hope things work out. When you saw him, what was your impression of Dr. Feller as far as his bedside manner?
I thought he's very nice, very intelligent, very caring.
He's an honest guy, and he's a good guy, and I think he's one of the few guys that really, he's so good at what he does. Like he can basically, he's kind of like. And again, I'm really stroking him here. It's kind of like when Babe Ruth, pointed to hit a home run. He kind of knows that. The guy's got such good instincts